The outgoing acting director of national intelligence, Richard Grenell, now says the Senate Intelligence Committee's top Democrat, he is Senator Mark Warner, is trying to, quote, cherry pick the intelligence that Richard Grenell wants declassified to show the American people about alleged surveillance abuses under the Obama administration against the Trump team. He's saying essentially the Democrats, again, are trying to set the narrative here. Let's welcome Michael Flynn's attorney. Let's welcome Sidney Powell back to the show. Great to have you back on, Sidney. It's always terrific to see you again. When you heard the story, what was your initial reaction?
That here we go again with the Democrats lying to the public and trying to avoid getting the truth out. I mean, the people want to see the actual documents and the real information and what the witnesses actually testified to. That's what we need to know the truth of exactly what happened. We now know that every time the Democrats said anything about any of this for the last 3 years, they were lying. Mr. Warner's no exception here. In fact, we know that he was communicating, trying to establish a back channel between himself and Christopher Steele while all the dossier mess was going on, and it was all being crafted and perpetrated in the media writ large.
Is that what Senator Mark Warner is now worried about, that he will be somehow implicated and dragged into this? And by the way, why was Senator Mark Warner trying to set up a back channel with Christopher Steele?
Well, that's a very good question. I'd like to know the answer to that, and I imagine he is worried about some of his own liability there.
You know, Sidney, he basically, Senator Warner is saying Richard Grenell is selectively declassifying material to benefit President Trump, but then the Democrats want to have it both ways. They want to stop the declassification of documents. I mean, Richard Grenell is moving, and I think has moved to declassify the phone call with Michael Flynn and the Russian ambassador. Have you seen the transcripts of that yet?
No, I have not seen that yet. I'm looking forward to seeing that because, as I understand it, everyone who reviewed them said there was absolutely nothing wrong with them, but yet it was used to create a felonious offense against General Flynn, who had done absolutely nothing wrong and was honest with the FBI agents when he talked to them. So I am fed up with everybody that's trying to hide the truth, and I guarantee you that is the Democrats, not the people who are declassifying documents. And that's going to be obvious the more and more is declassified.
You know, Sidney, correct me if I'm wrong. Did the D.C. Court of Appeals invite back the Justice Department in the review of how Judge Emmett Sullivan is handling your client Michael Flynn's case?
Yes, the D.C. Court of Appeals ordered Judge Sullivan to respond by this coming Monday, June 1st, but it invited the Department of Justice in its discretion to file something if it chose to do so.
What do you think their Justice Department is going to bring to the table here? And the reason why they dropped the case against Michael Flynn? What do you think? Anything new?
I don't know. There might be something new because they sure know more about it than I do. I generally find out my news from the press. Or something just pops in my inbox when they file it. I don't get advance notice of anything. But yes, I'm expecting that they might elaborate even more on the reasons they are dropping the case. Obviously, they know far more about it than I do. And there's still a lot more information that we've requested that I know is exculpatory that we haven't been given for whatever reason, some of which I'm sure is being used in other investigations now. So it could be very, very interesting, but I would certainly expect them to provide additional reasons why the case should be dropped and explain why they dropped it in the first place.
Final question. Did the FBI have a predicate, a basis? Did the Obama administration have a predicate and basis to open up the investigation into Michael Flynn and to bring charges against him?
No, absolutely not. In fact, one of the things I've requested that we still haven't received is General Flynn's Defense Intelligence Agency pre-briefings and post-briefings for all his foreign contacts. People act like he did something in secret, and he didn't at all. He was talking to the Defense Intelligence Agency before and after any of his foreign contacts, including his trip to Russia that everybody seems to want to try to get upset about, and also his involvement or one meeting with somebody from Turkey.
All right, Sidney Powell, we love having you on. Can you come back soon? It's great to have you
Yeah,
on
I'll
the show.
come
Good to
back
see you,
sometime
Sidney
next
Powell.
week.